Someone had asked me to tell them my story of how God helped me overcome fear. And first, I wanted to say that sometimes when you've been through a lot of traumatic events, maybe victims of crime or assault or domestic violence or rape or anything of that sort, or maybe you had a lot of conflict in your home that made you scared when you were younger, you can get set in a just kind of stuck in fear. It's sort of a survival cycle. So if you find yourself struggling with panic and fear and anxiety and maybe getting really upset at things that you can't control, that might even be rooted in fear as well. Because you may feel a great responsibility to protect yourself or to prevent certain things, and that's still just a fear that God won't come through for you if you don't do everything the right way. So what happened to me is I have had a lot of those things I just mentioned happen to me, and it did get me stuck in a cycle of it because I think I felt like I couldn't control other people and events and circumstances that happened to me, so I felt like I had to be in control of protecting myself and making the best possible decisions and preventing certain things and being cautious, and I put it all on me to keep me safe. And I think it's because other people do make choices that can affect you and not make you safe. And but when you're doing that, you are not trusting God and you're taking it all on yourself. Now it's fine and good to be responsible and be preventive and be cautious. But I think when you get your sense of security tied up in whether or not you do that perfectly, then you live in a persistent, constant state of fear, and it's hard to ever break that. Um, and I lived in that constant tied up anxiety. It affected, I could go places, and if I didn't know where I was going and I didn't have the proper directions, I would get scared because I thought, what if the car breaks down and I don't know where I'm at? And what if the phone's shut down? And, and I'm a single parent. Been in a divorce because of the domestic violence. And so everything does come down on me. Anything that gets done, I have to be the one to do it. I have to be the one to make the smart decisions, keep us safe, whatever it might be. And that puts you in a state of where you think you're always having to be the one in control and make the right decisions. So it's easy to think you're being responsible when you're really being over responsible and over independent and not trusting the Lord. And that can affect your health. There are heart problems that can come from that. I had a mini stroke in 2015. It can make you irritable and edgy and hard to deal with. Can affect your relationships, so many things. And so I don't want that anymore. And the peculiar thing that happened to make that stop was that I went through a sexual assault in February of 2017. And you wouldn't think that would be something you'd be glad happened, but God brought amazing growth to me because of that. And it wasn't immediate. I was a train wreck. Immediately for, I don't know, a year, maybe a little less than that. It seemed to affect me in negative ways. Panic attacks, fear, being very demanding, being very controlled, just constant anxiety, not be able to sleep good. But in that time period, I broke down so badly that I couldn't be in control. I couldn't make all the right choices. I couldn't do the things that I normally did that I thought kept me safe. And I discovered that no matter what I did to make the right choices and to protect and be safe, it didn't stop that from happening to me again. And that was devastating at first because I thought, why did God not keep it from happening? But what he did do was he used it to break that in me. Because once I processed what I've been through and I allowed myself to break down, I allowed myself to learn self-care, and in doing that I went to an extreme and I became kind of over selfish, I probably had too much self-care, just kind of demanding, because I'd never really taken care of myself before. And sometimes to get to a balance and a middle ground, you go to extremes. And I had a long time where I just said, I don't care about everything. I was like, I have to matter. I have to matter. I have to do what I do to take care of me. And that's not a way to stay for a lifetime. But for that season, it was the only way I could learn self-care. And in that time, I didn't make all the best choices in the world. But I come out of the end of that stronger. I survived. I let myself have self-care. I didn't do all the right things every day. All these things that I thought were up to me, like if I don't do this,